Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and everything in between. Welcome back to another episode of Geeks Watch. Today I'm going to talk about the 2015 film Song of the Sea, an image of which you will see here. I was prompted to make this because I saw a clip of the film on YouTube as I was doom scrolling, and I was reminded of how much I love this film. It was actually my daughter who prompted me to go see this film. It was something I hadn't heard of. She was all over it. So I do love animation, but it wasn't something that was on my radar until one of my kids put it there, and I just fell in love with it. I really did. A brief overview of the story. Song of the Sea is based on the Selkie myths. If you don't know what the Selkie myths are, the Selkies are mythical creatures who can switch between human and seal. Selkie is, in some ways, a translation of Gaelic of the word seal. They do this by removing their sealskin. So they basically have a sealskin coat, which they take off to become human and put back on again to transform back into a seal. A lot of the myths involve fishermen who take the sealskin coat and use it to force the women to become their brides. There's no mention of that in this. The film essentially opens up with a man and his wife and their young son talking about the impending birth of a new baby, and then the mother, like heavy in labor, walks out the front door, and then she is never seen again. The younger sister, the boy's name is Ben, the sister's name is Sorsha, their father's name is Connor. Sorsha is mute. The mother is gone. Sorsha's mute. She doesn't speak at all. She's a very cute, precocious child, and Ben resents her. Their father, Connor, dotes on her, because of the mother, because the mother's gone. And Ben resents her because their father dotes on her and because the mother is gone. There are some incidents. The kid's grandmother does not approve of them living on an island off the coast of Ireland. Wants them to live on the mainland. There are other fantastical creatures here too. There's I'm probably gonna butcher this. Dondashi, which are some type of fairy folk. There's the owl witch Maka, which is also from Celtic myth, and Maclear, the giant, also from Celtic myth. So there's a lot of Celtic mythology woven into this story. It takes place in the 1980s, I think. And so it's basically like a telling of modern mythology, or old Celtic mythology in modern times. So it's kind of interwoven into the story, and it's done in a really, really good way. The film itself is beautiful. The animation is very stylized, but it is gorgeous. It's almost like a moving stained glass picture. It has that, the artistic style reminds me of like those old-fashioned either stained glass window images or like the old drawings you'd find in like medieval books. It's like that, very, very stylized and very, thin line. Not based entirely in realism artwork. Things have a flat appearance. So, but the story itself is one of the things I like about this is that it is essentially excuse me, it is ostensibly a kids movie, but they don't really pull any punches in a lot of ways. As opposed to most Disney fairy tales where you never see what happens to the parents, we do kind of witness the family before it breaks. We see the trauma that that the loss of the family's mother has caused, both in the way the father has kind of become, you know, withdrawn because of it and dotes on his daughter because of it, and somewhat doesn't pay enough attention to his son because of it. You know, there's the witch Maka, which, I'm going to give away some spoilers here, basically thinks that emotions are a bad thing, and so she tries to bottle up people's emotions to take them away. There is some this movie can be silly and fun and happy, but there's also some dark elements into it that I think are really well done. I love the music from the film as well. It's all based on old Celtic music. And I say Celtic as a broad term. I realize there's Irish, Welsh, Scottish, Manx. I know it's kind of a bastardization to lump them all to one group, but I'm also not entirely sure which aspects the films are taken from. There are some Scottish, there's Irish and Scottish, like I said, Irish, Scottish, Welsh, and Manx, and whatever other Celtic aspects there are. I don't know specifically which they're borrowing from to make the story, to make the music. So I'm going to lump them all into one and say Celtic. One of the other things I really enjoyed about this film, although I didn't particularly get too involved in it myself, was that they actually made Irish language versions of it. Like in most language, you have like the English and the Japanese, blah, 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 blah. Although they'll do the film in other languages. They did this in Irish and Welsh. I think Welsh. I know they did at least Irish, but they actually did these in the language of their homeland, which we don't see very much up here in the U.S. We see films dubbed in Spanish or French or whatever, or we'll watch Japanese imports dubbed in English. They went in and re-recorded all the dialogue in at least 2 different Celtic languages, in addition to like the French and German, versions, that type of thing. So I think this is really a love letter to Celtic heritage, and it's just a beautiful piece of artwork as a film. It's really, really good, and the story is fun and cute. I think there's something here for adults and for kids. I freely admit that I am still enamored with animation as an adult, and I watched cartoons with my kids all the time when they were little. Not so much now that they're out of the house and grown up. But I would highly recommend Song of the Sea. It's a beautiful film, and it's very sweet in a lot of ways. As always, thanks for watching. As always, this is crap. And until next time, good hunting.